what's crazy is you watch these streams and it's the guy calling a guy a simp and saying that this other guy should be masculine. He's the one that's being effeminate. It's weird.
Why are you up?
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think?
Boom, the world class.
I just wanted to clear up the point I was making earlier. I wasn't really trying to stay too long, show
Okay.
some love. But I was saying, like, basically, like, the threat of, what is it called? The low-level threat of violence that you get deep being in person with another dude, that's very, very natural. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. So,
Go
he's
ahead.
saying my
That's
fault.
very, very natural, and you can always tell from a man's presence, like, how far you can take it with him from talking to him in person.
Okay.
But
good.
online, that's not there. So when men get disrespectful online, it just still goes down the same path that women tend to go when they get disrespectful, because it's just a completely social domain. There's no physical aspect to it. So you can take things further and make it more personal or get more catty with it without that low-level threat of violence. I end up not saying things I feel like saying because I'm like, I can't punch nobody in the face about this. I can't say nothing. I can't do nothing. My presence isn't going to make a difference online. I have to be more witty. I have to think of things, or I have to just fall back and take the L because of the fact that we're not in person. But that puts men in a specifically feminine space when you're being disrespectful, because now you're trying to do what they say women do, which is gossip, innuendo, reputation destruction, be catty, show jealousy. Like, all the negative traits that they put on women is what men end up being in a space of if there's not that low-level threat of violence.
So you saying, I agree with you. First of all, you're saying that just the nature of being online makes it inherently catty. Not, I don't want to call it catty or feminine. I just want to, because I'm really looking at what we were talking about earlier, that it's just innately gonna just go too far because there's no way to gauge, like you were saying, as it would physically.
Right.
I agree with you. I agree with you, because so it's like, it's weird.
I call it catty because to me that's just how I was raised to look at it. Like, that's just what I heard. Like, doing certain things is what is for a female. So to me, if a female is being negative, that's the route that it is. Like, when girls ain't friends and they, like, even from like middle school up or whatever, you see how they tear each other apart. It's always through that type of behavior that you see dudes doing online now, that I'm just like, if niggas see me doing this shit, they'd be like, nigga, what the hell's wrong with you? Why do you have time to do that? Like people would literally judge me because it just wouldn't make sense to be that conniving or that,
Right.
Well, I just call it catty. I would say catty.
I don't disagree with it being catty. I just wanted to use a more general term because I'm thinking about how, because you brought up men, and I'm just thinking about men being in a space, kind of not having that restraint. I'm not going too far because, yeah, no, ain't no consequences for talking to this nigga that I know would fuck me up. You know what I'm saying? But just taking things too far is how I look at it. But I do agree with the cattiness, especially how, when you look at how it's going down, what they're saying, and how it's getting out of control. I've seen so much, and what's crazy is you watch these streams and it's the guy calling a guy a simp and saying that this other guy should be masculine. He's the one that's being effeminate. It's weird. All right, Hassan, peace. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It'd be that specific dude. Pro man, pro this, pro manosphere, but you're being the most effeminate. You can't control yourself. That's why I like podcasts. Shout out to podcasts. He don't like Keisha M, but Keisha M, I've seen her over and over again. These niggas are snapping. She just looking at these niggas like, sure, okay, all right. Now that we're done that, I'm like, yo, y'all getting cooked. So it's bad, man. I agree with you with that. I see what you're saying, because I thought you were saying what's the equivalent of you know, on what's the equivalent of being online to the low level of threat and violence that we get in person. But I do understand what you're saying. I agree.
I seen what you were saying there, and that kind of opened my perspective up a little bit because I was keyed in on my point, but when you said that, I'm just like, well, yeah, I see that that's what everybody ends up going for, and I'll be
Right.
blind to it. I can't necessarily feel embarrassed online because I'm like,
hmm
I just close the shit, and then when I look around, I'm in my regular life. It doesn't like I can feel the embarrassment somewhat, but I don't feel embarrassed really per se because it's just online. But when you get people whose real lives get brought onto the internet, then I'm just like, then I really feel
Yeah.
I feel shitty for them.